So if you're building with generative AI, especially in an enterprise setting, you have definitely hit that reliability wall, right? How do you actually stop your models from just making things up? Well, today, we are breaking down Google's enterprise-grade answer, the Vertex AI RAG engine. It's a tool that's specifically designed to let you build AI applications you can finally trust with your own private data.
It all really boils down to this one question. You've got these incredibly powerful large language models, but can you actually connect them to your company's proprietary documents, your internal wikis, all of your unique datasets, and this is the key part, trust the outcome. This right here is the biggest barrier stopping AI from moving out of the lab and into full-scale production.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dive into what I call the hallucination crisis. It's the real blocker for production AI. Then we'll unpack the solution, its core pillars, the automated workflow that makes it all happen, and the enterprise edge that Vertex AI gives you. We'll wrap things up with the exact steps you can take to get building. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the AI hallucination crisis. And look, this is not just some buzzword. It is the single biggest reason why so many promising AI projects never, ever make it into production.
So what exactly is a hallucination? It's actually pretty simple. You ask a powerful AI model a question about your business, right? But since it was only trained on general internet data, it just doesn't know the answer. It can't see your private documents. So it does the only thing it can. It makes a very, very educated guess. And that guess is often wildly and sometimes dangerously wrong.
And this is why it's a crisis. I mean, think about it. If an AI can't reliably reference your company's single source of truth, it just can't be trusted. Not in a customer-facing chatbot, not in an internal knowledge base, and it's this fundamental lack of trust that grinds so many AI projects to a complete halt. So how do we fix this? The answer is we have to build a foundation of fact for our AI. The solution is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short, and Vertex AI's approach is built on three really strategic pillars that make this whole process scalable and, most importantly, effective. These three pillars are grounding, auto-chunking, and seamless integration. Grounding is all about making sure the AI bases its answers only on your verified data. Auto-chunking takes care of all the messy, time-consuming work of preparing that data. And integration makes it super easy to connect to the tools and data sources your company already uses every day.
Now look, you could try to build a RAG pipeline yourself, but this chart right here shows the world of pain you'd be signing up for. Manual RAG means writing custom scripts for every single data source, painstakingly splitting files, and building this fragile system that's an absolute nightmare to maintain. The Vertex AI RAG engine, on the other hand, automates the entire stack. It's a huge shift from high developer overhead to a low-touch, managed infrastructure that just lets your team ship faster. So we've covered the why, now let's get into the how. This is the automated workflow that takes all your raw data and turns it into a fact-based, grounded response that you can actually rely on.
Okay, so this workflow breaks down into 5 key steps. First up, data ingestion. This is where it pulls in your files from places like Google Drive. Next is transformation, and this is where the magic auto-chunking happens. It intelligently breaks down your documents and creates vector embeddings. Just think of these as mathematical fingerprints that capture the actual meaning of the text. Third, it indexes all of that into a super optimized search library called a corpus. Now, when a user asks a question, step 4, semantic retrieval, kicks in. Instead of just matching keywords, it's actually searching for those mathematical fingerprints to find the most relevant chunks of information. Finally, that context is fed to the LLM for generation, which forces the final answer to be factually grounded in your data.
And this brings us to probably the most important thing to remember from this whole explainer. The RAG engine is not just some vector database you have to manage. It is a complete managed data framework and infrastructure. It handles the entire end-to-end process, so your team can focus on what they do best, building the actual application, not wrestling with all the plumbing underneath.
This whole managed approach is what gives Vertex AI a really distinct edge for enterprises, where things like security, scalability, and speed are absolutely non-negotiable. So let's break down what that actually means for your business and for your dev teams.
So what is this enterprise edge? Well, it really comes down to 3 things. First, no infrastructure management. That means your engineers are spending their time building features, not tuning databases. Second, you get rock-solid enterprise security, with critical controls like VPCSC and CMEK supported right out of the box.
And third, you get true global scalability, giving you high-performance vector storage in pretty much any region you need to operate in. Now, a quick but important note for the architects watching. While you get these really robust security features like VPCSC and CMAC, it's really important to know the current landscape. As of right now, data residency and AXT security controls are not yet supported within the RAG engine framework itself. Just being transparent here because that's obviously key for proper planning. Okay, so we've covered the problem, we've walked through the solution, and we've talked about the enterprise advantages. Now for the final, and I think most important part. How do you actually start building with this stuff? The path to getting started is actually really straightforward. You can just begin by downloading the Vertex AI SDK and then running the RAG Quick Start for Python. This is going to let you ingest your first set of documents and see the whole process firsthand. And from there, you can even integrate with powerful tools like the Gemini Live API to build some amazing, real-time applications that are all grounded in your own data.
And that really is the final thought here. We're moving beyond this phase of trying to trick a generalist AI into giving us the right answer with clever prompts. The future is all about building applications that are fundamentally, deeply connected to your organization's truth. The era of prompt hacking is over. It is time to start grounding your applications for the kind of reliability, security, and trust that your business and your users absolutely demand.